we go. Welcome, everyone. I'm old enough that I used to watch TV after school, and it was all those sort of game show things with Monty Hall and things like that. And they always had these cards that they would hold up for the audience to go, applause. So I appreciate not having to do that with you. Well, we have some wonderful people on stage today. Welcome to you all. And I suspect standing would be a nice thing for this first song. Yes. So if you're able and you'd like to stand, please do, and we'll sing our way into our service.
I am opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the One. I am opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the One. I am opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the One. I am opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the One. I am opening, I am opening, I am opening, I am opening, I am opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the One. I am opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the One. I am opening, I am opening, I am opening, I am opening, I am opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the One. I am opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the One. I am opening, I am opening, I am opening, I am opening, I am opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the One. I am opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the One. Oh, sorry. That was the mic. Ooh. Too close to the speaker. Woo-wee. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. 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 My soul is welcome here.
I'd like to invite any children in the audience to come on up front with their teachers. And we have a brand new teacher. Her name is Eva. Welcome, Eva. So Eva and Joe are going to be helping our kids today, and we're so grateful. Let's sing them into their outdoor classroom.
For the world, I'm glad to be on it. Hooray for the world, I'm glad to be on it. Hooray for the world, it's a special place. We've got Mother Nature and the human race. The world's got trees and bumblebees, rivers and lakes and the open seas, mountains and valleys and the animals too, and the sun that shines on me and you. Hooray for the world, I'm glad to be on it. Hooray for the world, I'm glad to be on it. Hooray for the world, it's a special place. We've got Mother Nature and the human race. We've got Mother Nature and the human race.
Sometimes when I wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning, I sing that song to myself. It's in my brain. Let's just take a deep breath. I'm Cindy Clay. I'm a practitioner here, and I'm serving today with Joanne and Mary Ballou, and you'll see, and Wanda, and Kalish is here with her stole on. So any of us wearing a stole today are welcoming you to come to us if you need a prayer this morning. And that is something that practitioners do. You can also put a prayer request in the pottery jar at the back that we call a prayer vessel. There's a little form you can fill out, and we'll pray for you. And you can ask for prayer at the website. So praying is good. Let's do it now. So I just put my awareness now on the presence of love, of peace, the one presence that fills this space and fills each of our hearts. I am so grateful that we are united in this community of love and peace and joy. And so I welcome us all now into this service of healing, of learning, and the joy of being together. And I say, thank you, sweet Spirit. And so it is.
So it is. Pour yourself in me. Pour yourself into my heart. Whoa, wonderful Spirit, pour your joy in me, pour your joy into my heart. Whoa, wonderful Spirit, pour your love in me, pour your love into my heart. Whoa, wonderful wonderful Spirit, shine your light in me. Shine your light into my heart. Whoa, wonderful Spirit, sing your song with me. Sing your song into my heart. Whoa, wonderful Spirit, dance and smile in me. Dance and smile into my heart. Whoa, wonderful Spirit. Whoa, wonderful Spirit. We are holy, holy, holy. We are holy, holy, holy. We are holy, holy, holy. We are whole. We are holy, holy, holy. We are holy, holy, holy. We are holy, holy, holy. We are whole. Spirit divine, come to me, feeling love, healing me. Open my heart, allow me to see beauty and love that lives in me. You are holy, holy, holy. You are holy, holy, holy. You are holy, holy, holy. You are whole. You are holy, holy, holy. You are holy, holy, holy. You are holy, holy, holy. You are whole. Spirit divine, come to me, feeling love, healing me. Open my heart, allow me to see beauty and love surrounding me. I am holy, holy, holy. I am holy, holy, holy. I am holy, holy, holy. I am whole. I am holy, holy, holy. I am holy, holy, holy. I am holy, holy, holy. I am whole. We are whole. You are whole. I am whole.
Goodness sakes, I've got this huge science mind textbook that looks like a Bible. Because I'm talking about forgiveness today. And it's always special to be able to talk about it because I have a lot of practice. Some of it not great. Learning to forgive is actually just an incredible spiritual skill set. And I'm positive that almost everybody in this room has had the opportunity to begin to learn that skill set. So the overall theme for this month, for those of you who are new, is transformation at the base. And it has to do with our yearly theme, which is how to live beautifully in the world. And so the topic today is the tremendous transformational power of forgiveness. And so I want to talk first about what forgiveness is and what it isn't. So I'll talk about what it isn't, first of all, because there might be a few of you listening that are like, I don't need to forgive. They were wrong. I was right. And maybe you were a little more subtle about that. But still, it's like, no, they were the ones. So here's what forgiveness isn't. It isn't condoning what happened. So it's not saying, oh, that's all right, pat, 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 and then letting it all happen again. No, it's not about that. It's also not about liking the person or loving them, honestly. I don't know if very many people are honest with you, but, we're called to unconditionally love people, but not necessarily like them. And when someone has harmed us, no, we're not expected to just all of a sudden be all peaches and cream with them again, right? So it's not condoning, it's not necessarily liking. It doesn't mean that you let it happen again. It's not sentimental. Forgiveness is a skill set, it's not an emotion. And so it has nothing to do with emotional things, although there's lots of emotional feelings around it. And someone once said, and one more before I say that, it's forgiveness is not for anybody else. And that was one that I kept getting kind of stumbling over as I was learning forgiveness. So someone once said, forgiveness is giving up all hope of a better past. And I love that. I love that quote because that's really kind of the nub of the thing, is that for a lot of us we get caught wanting it to be different than it actually is. And I don't know about you, but I've never succeeded in making that happen. Not once, 0 times has that worked for me to want something to be different than it is and then it is. I mean, darn. Because I, of course, have a great idea of what should be happening around here, right? And I'm sure you do too. So what is forgiveness then? If it's not about condoning, if it's not a feeling, if it's not about anyone else, if it's not about letting things happen again, what is it? Well, what it is basically is a tremendous act of creation, believe it or not. Because if you think about the forgiveness opportunities you've had in your life, you had so many choices. You got to be creative in so many ways with that. For example, you could forgive one thing. You could forgive some of it. You could forgive none of it. You could forgive sometimes and not always. You could forgive yourself and not necessarily get to the point of forgiving them yet. So there's a creative energy around forgiveness that has to do with designing how you want to be in your life, how you want to be in your life. So again, nothing to do with anybody else. And so since it's an act of creation and you can choose to do it in many ways, often it's a process. I'm reminded of the story about the man and the IRS. So there was a man, and he wrote a letter to the IRS because he was feeling terribly guilty because he lied on his taxes. And so he wrote the letter and he said, I'm losing sleep over this. I'm so sorry. I lied on my taxes. And here's a check for $2,000. And if I lose sleep tonight, I'll send you the rest. Forgiveness is kind of like that. For a lot of us, it's like little incremental steps of like, okay, I'm going to work on this piece. I'm going to do this part. But what it fundamentally comes down to is awareness. And what I mean by that is this. in order to really be creative with forgiveness, we have to first be aware of what a lack of forgiveness is doing to us. And that requires some attention to, what's happening. And so, in essence, it's kind of like the instructions are to start with the easiest part of any situation that needs forgiving. So let's say, you've got some big thing that you've got to forgive that either you did or someone else did. And so you think about the easiest thing that still sort of needs a little forgiveness, not necessarily even about that situation. So your dog pooped in the house. So you pay attention to the dog and how much you love the dog and how, that was an accident and a mistake and it's not typical of them and you're going to do a better job of walking them before you go to sleep. And you just keep focusing on how much you love that dog and care about that dog and could do so much better for that dog. And you feel your heart kind of just letting go of the poop issue and just kind of opening, to the love you have for this animal. And then maybe you think about, it's a tricky thing, your children. And and you think about how much you love your children and how, just because they're failing college and you're paying for it, they're still worthy beings and you love them so much. It's a little harder than the dog. But you're there, you're moving up the ladder from ease to not as easy. And you really, although I'm making light of it, this is actually the instruction, is to choose things that are easier to open your heart around, that maybe your heart was closed about. So you keep opening your heart, opening how you feel, feeling love, feeling it kind of expanding in you. And there comes a moment when you think about the actual thing that's requiring your forgiveness that's bigger. And what's wonderful about that moment is you can immediately feel your heart do this. No, I'm not, you can't make me. And it feels like this little shriveled up walnut shell of a heart, And it used to, with the dog and the kids and everything else you're loving and opening, you can feel the difference. Have you ever done that? It's really striking when we're actually paying attention to it. And that is how we begin to train ourselves to pay attention to what's happening with us when we're working with forgiveness. So the closing of the heart, the opening of the heart. And it's important to kind of note that as we go along, because as we get really good at forgiveness and we get really good at keeping our heart open even in difficult situations, we can actually feel the progress. We can feel that there's a process happening for us. And we can begin to feel success, even if we're not all the way complete with the forgiveness process. And that's very powerful. I don't know where you are with all of that, but I know for me, I had a lot of mistaken ideas about forgiveness and what it was and how it worked and how it should be and all that stuff. And what really caught me the first time I was sort of exploring how to forgive better, because I seem to take about 10 years, is I read a quote from the Buddha who said, hating someone else and not forgiving them is like swallowing a live coal and expecting it to burn them. And it's like, ooh. There's lots of quotes like that on the internet. You can look them up. There's one about rat poison, same idea. So it was born in on me that, actually what I was doing was harming myself. And that's another piece of this awareness process that happens as we begin the journey, is to begin to realize that whether you're not forgiving yourself for something or you're not forgiving someone else, the harm doesn't do anything to anyone but self, ever. They're off on vacation and you're, in the bathtub crying with a walnut-sized heart. It doesn't work. So how do we How do we move it? How do we do it? Was the question that I kept asking. And one of the things that the Dalai Lama said that also stuck with me is he was asked how he could be so joyful and so apparently happy when the Chinese had come in and destroyed his culture and burned the monasteries and disrobed the monks and nuns and imprisoned a whole bunch of them and turning Tibet into a nuclear waste dump. And, how can you be happy? What's going on there? Are you just delusional or what? Was basically the tone of the question. And he stopped and he said, they've taken everything else from us. Why would I let them take my joy? And it was such a great response. And it really proves the point of how forgiveness operates. It's about us. It's about me. It's about my joy, my ability to love, my ability to live free of hatred. Because hatred is corrosive, you may have noticed. A lot of people, when they come to the center, they go, well, none of us, this is such a great place. We're all so joyful and nobody hates anybody. It's a goal. It's a big goal. We're working on it almost daily, particularly if we watch television. We're working on it all the time. So, yeah, everyone from time to time falls into the pit of this walnut-sized, shut down, hate-filled heart. And so when we get to that place, we begin to create again how we want to be in our experience. And our goal is freedom. Our goal is working with what is to the point where we actually compost it and turn it into something that will create growth in us and will be nourishing. How is that even possible sometimes? I'm sure you're sitting there thinking of your latest thing that you might have had to forgive, or that thing way back when that you've been working on for 50 years and it's better, but it's not all the way done. How is it possible to make something that enormous turn into the compost of the soul so that we grow from it and are nourished by it? How is that? And, in one word, well, no, okay, maybe a couple. I can't say it in just one. It's being willing to work with grief that transforms an unforgivable situation into something different. Because behind forgiveness is grief. Either grief about how we've been, or grief about how a situation devolved or unfolded that we didn't want to be like that. And a lot of us aren't very good, not only with forgiveness, but we're not very good at grieving. And so, the part of the journey of forgiveness is always about grief, always about wishing it could have been different, wishing I could have been different, wishing I had known, wishing. And that grief is actually the solvent that dissolves the walnut closed heart. But it takes some work to be willing to face that. And so if you're interested, like if I'm talking directly to you, which sometimes everybody feels in the room, but occasionally it's just a couple people, but I'll tell you one of the things that helped me the most in this creation process of forgiveness for me, and that was, I really am it takes me a long time to forgive big things. So there were two things that I realized. One, I was raised by people that were very attached to, how do I want to say it, to the story. They were attached to the story of what happened to them. So I was trained, as a young person, to be attached to the story. And so, my people are Irish, so there's already some stuff there already when they get to America. and they're Catholic, and they've been persecuted, and now they're in the United States, and they don't want to be Catholic anymore because it's just been gone sideways for them. And my grandfather gets hired by a Catholic firm of accountants. And they say, "Are you Catholic?" And he says, "Yes." And then hates his life forever in that firm. And so eventually, no shocker, they betray him somehow or other. I never even did know the story. And so from then on, Catholics are even worse than they were. The story goes on, And so from there's betrayal as a storyline in my family. Well, okay, way back, all the way through. So I was trained to be very attached to the story of betrayal and the story of, not forgiving people because they'd done us wrong, and said with much more fierceness than that, and a lot of anger and hatred. So I thought that was normal. How about you? I just thought that was normal. I thought that's what everybody did until I got into the science of mind teaching, and then I went, well, oh, that's not normal. That's actually painful. Not only that, but if I keep believing that betrayal is the way it's going to go, it will. Right? What you think about, you bring about. What you dwell upon, you become. So that not being attached to the storyline has helped me over and over and over as I've grown as a spiritual person. Not even worrying about the facts, but instead focusing on how do I want to be? How do I want to be in this situation? How do I want to feel in this situation? Is there anything I need to be doing to work with this in a way that will heal it for me? Remember. And then the second thing I did, and it was very, very powerful, and I don't recommend it unless you're really, really ready to do some pretty deep work, is to go on the web and go on Byron Katie's website. All of her material is free, and download her worksheets. Listen to a couple of her YouTubes and do the worksheets. And if you need help, there's actually coaches that you do have to pay who will help you. And that work was the last pivot into freedom for me after a long, long time of not being able to forgive. It was very powerful. I didn't like it at all, so don't think this is gloriously spiritual. It is, and it sucks, but it is very powerful work when you're working it, and I highly recommend it. I used to teach it because it made such a difference in my freedom, in my ability to let go and come into an open heart again around that particular situation. And so, is there anything else I need to talk about? Well, I could say, I have so many notes because forgiveness is huge. I could say that what happened with the Byron Katie work, you don't have to do the Byron Katie work to notice that as you're crafting a life of forgiveness, there is moment by moment and toward the end huge shifts of identity. There comes a time when the identification of who you are shifts into I am free, I am love, I am compassion. I will not let that happen again because I love myself. I will not project hate because I love myself enough. So it shifts it, and so that's powerful. And I guess I'll close with a quote from the Ojibwe people, because often, the story was what a lot of people get caught in, certainly was me. And this quote, just if you see it in context, it's like, wow. It goes like this. Sometimes I go about pitying myself when all the time a great wind is carrying me. So let me do a prayer so that the great wind can carry us all and lift us. I start with the understanding that there is one infinite love and powerful wisdom moving through all things, all people, at the level that there is capacity to receive it. And so in my life, I accept an ever-deepening, widening capacity to allow love to be my way and wisdom to guide my actions, my thoughts, and my feelings. As I recognize that as I open the door to this love and wisdom enhancing me and opening me more fully, I understand that there will be places where I see that I have been too small in my love for myself and towards others. And since I accept that my goal is to be love in action and to allow wisdom to be my way, as I encounter the places in me that require a greater capacity of love and wisdom, I am now willing and able to allow myself to expand, to open, to free myself from any tangle of story or thought, feeling or emotion, and simply allow myself to become what I truly am, which is love in action. Because sometimes I personally, at a personality level, don't know how to do that in certain situations, I am now willing also to allow this vaster love to support me like the great wind and carry me in situations where I don't know what to do or say or even how to be. And as I allow and surrender into that, I do know. And I move with the wisdom of something much vaster than I am. For all this, I am grateful. And I say this prayer for myself. But the way it works here is that if this is a prayer that resonates with you, that you would like to also embrace, we will end this prayer with saying, "And so it is." And all you have to do is heartfully say with me now, "And so it is." Thank you. Thank you. I'm going to invite our ushers, Lori and Lynn, to prepare for the offertory. They are wonderful volunteers, and they're going to come forward, and you're invited, if you would like, to support the center by giving a financial donation. We deeply appreciate these donations, and all that you see here is made possible through all the donations that we all do. So thank you ahead of time.
God is my source, God is my power, God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings, God gives me everything I need. God is my source, God is my power, God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings, God gives me everything I need. God is my source, God is my power, God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings, God gives me everything I need. God is my source, God is my power, God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings, God gives me everything I need. God gives me everything I need. God gives me everything.
Well, surprisingly, we have some announcements for you. And the first one, let's see. I'd like to invite our special guest, Chrissy Mosley, to come up. And she's going to give you a sampling of what she's doing after the service at noon today. She's offering a sound journey. And originally, it was planned to be outside. But the grass is completely saturated and we can't lay down out there. So it's going to be here in the sanctuary. So Christy, let's hear some things.
So I invite you to close your eyes. Bring your awareness to your breath. Allow your shoulders to drop towards the earth.
So what an antidote to a walnut-sized closed heart, huh?
Yes.
And to those of us with wide open hearts, whoa. The sound journey will be very special. Not to worry if you didn't know about it or didn't register but would like to go. There'll be someone in the back of the room who will be registering people, and it's by donation. And it's a gift from Christy to our center. So feel free to stay if you'd like. There'll be chairs, but also opportunity to lay down if you're comfortable doing that. Because we're setting up for the sound journey, you're going to see some big gongs being rolled in from the classroom. And we're going to ask everybody to go to the classroom and have coffee or go outside while we're setting up, because we're going to pick up a bunch of the chairs. But thank you for being here and offering this. It'll be wonderful. So far, we have over 16 people signed up for Reverend Colleen's Back to Basics class that starts next week. And we would love you to be, this coming week, we would love you to be a part of it. If you're just hearing about it, it's free. And what it is Reverend Colleen is our minister emeritus. She actually founded this center with her husband, Reverend Bob. And she is excited to share the basic ideas of the science of mind. And it's a wonderful lead-in to the class I'll be teaching later in September. So if you'd like to go, we would really love you to register. because we have materials that you may want to receive. And all the registration can happen at the Ask Me desk in the classroom. And my class, which is Mental Equivalence, fascinating class, you can also register for online. So wonderful opportunities there. And then I'm pretty excited because the installations on the Earth Stewards Art Trail are starting to happen. And what this is we have a group of people dedicated to really helping all of us remember how much we love the earth and ways we can do that. And we have these incredible walking trails. That's where the kids go often on Sundays. And there's maps and all kinds of things to get into the woods and go through these trails. So we decided what would be lovely is to set up earth altars on the trails so that people would have the opportunity to stop and breathe and be part of. So we have different installations happening. Several are already up. And there will be more in the coming weeks, and we'll have an official opening ceremony for the trail and all of the installations on September 15th. So I'm saying this for two reasons, to let you know about that, but also I know there's a few of you who didn't fill out an application to let the Earth Stewards know that you have an idea for an installation that you would like to do. It's not too late, but it's getting there, because we have to have them installed by September 5th or something like that. So if you have an idea and you'd really like to do this, there are applications at the Ask Me desk, and you can fill one out. But don't delay. They have to be up on the 5th of September. And then, hey, look who's there. It's this woman. And what you may not know is not only is she a fantastic musician and performer, but she owns her own company and is wildly successful in it. And she is going to be our first speaker of the season at our Spirit at Work breakfast, which is happening Wednesday, September 4th. It happens from 8 to 9:30 in the morning, and it's really geared toward people who are either entrepreneurs or self-employed or manage people, and they would like to hear spiritual ideas of how people have created their businesses and are working with spiritual practices and principles to really enhance what they're doing. So you're invited to come if this feels like something you would like to do, and you can register online. We ask $30, but we also know that many of us who are self-employed don't have that kind of money. We're still, that's our goal, is to be able to do things. So we don't want that to discourage you, but pay what you can and come. We do need you to pre-register because Jen Brown, who's an incredible foodie, makes sure that our breakfasts are wonderful. So let us know you're coming if you'd like to come and be a part. And then, actually, Kathy reminded me, I'm doing this, the 100 Days of Mindful Practice, for my election intention. And what this is addressing fear and any concerns we might have about the election process. And so every day you get an affirmation until the election. So if you'd like to do that, you can text JOIN to that number, and you can. And I think I have that here, so I'll put this down here so that if any of you want to take a picture of it, you can, and be a part of that wonderful intention. And now we wanted to let you know about a special women's retreat that's being planned by many women from here as well as others. And it's going to be at Seebeck Conference Center, which is out on the Hood Canal from September 25th through the 29th. And though it's not our event, so many of our people are going. We wanted you to be aware of it because registration is coming to a close. So you can find it on the same piece of paper. And there's also a flyer in our outdoor glass case there, and you can get the information there. Also, I know, Lynn, you're part of the planning team. So Lynn in the back, who is our usher today, would be happy to answer any questions. And Anne is going to be, do you want to be here or why don't you be by the Ask Me desk if any women have questions about what's going to happen and what it'll be like. I've been to Seebeck. It is magical and a very special thing indeed. And then our own Jenna Anderson is providing definitely an interesting day of embodied medicine to heal anything surrounding birth. And you can connect with her and find out more about it. It's on September 28th from 10 to 4. Okay, I think that might be it. Oh, we had paella with Biff and Laurel. I saw them come in. There they are. Thank you so much. And Tarot Made Easy with Susan and Sandy. Are they here today? That I hear was incredible as well. For those of you who are new, the Gourmets for Good is a season, and the lead up to it is a bunch of us say, well, I'll provide a particular kind of event or dinner, and then people bid for a place at the table, and all the money goes to the center. So this year we made $17,600 from all the dinners. And we're definitely planning on doing it again. All right, I think that might be it. And so I'll invite those of you who are able to stand, and we'll sing our way into the classroom or outside.
I can feel the power of love inside me. Feel the power of love. I can see the evidence around me. We are the power of love. And my eyes are open to the truth I now embrace. And my heart is open by spirit and by grace. I can feel the power of love inside me. Feel the power of love. I can see the evidence around me. We are the power of love. And my eyes are open to the truth I now embrace. And my heart is open by spirit and by grace. We are the power of love. 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 Have a wonderful week, everybody.